My husband accused me of cheating with my brother-in-law, so I kicked him out.
The brother-in-law or the husband?
I, 26 female, have been married to my husband, 27 male, for a year. I dated him for 5 years and finally got married to him last year. He's always been perfect for me, and I simply cannot understand why he is acting like this all of a sudden and so suspicious about me and my brother-in-law. By the way, this comes from user NoHeart3827 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I didn't even know that my husband was insecure about my relationship with my brother-in-law. I got to know about it from my brother-in-law, and I don't like this at all. I also don't want to ruin my perfect marriage over some misunderstanding, but I am really mad at my husband for not trusting me. I always had a great relationship with my brother-in-law. He's 3 years younger than me, and ever since my husband introduced me to his family, I and my brother-in-law got along. I think of him as my younger brother. It's kind of funny that I get along with him more than my own brothers. And we even joke about it. My brother-in-law is very frank with me, and so am I. He often jokes and makes me laugh in front of our family or if we spend time alone. And he always helps me, which is why we are so dang close to each other in the first place. Like 7 months ago when I was sick, my husband wasn't present to help me as he was in a different city because of his new job. It was my brother-in-law who ended up helping me and stayed with me for a week. He helped me with chores, cooking, laundry. Even when I asked him to not let me bother him, he just said, "Sis, it's my responsibility to help you and take care of you in my brother's absence." 3 months ago, though, my brother-in-law became distant. Usually, my brother-in-law would check up on me and call every few days, but he got distant. He would come over for dinner and spend time with me when I'm alone, but he stopped. I thought maybe he's going through something, so I asked him, but he just brushed it off. He started avoiding me more and stopped visiting me entirely, and I started growing anxious. So I visited him 4 days ago. I wanted to know the reason, and after I visited him and pressured him, he told me that his brother asked him to stay away from me as he doesn't like the fact that we're so close, especially when he's not around, and he finds our close bond disgusting.
Somebody's insecure. Somebody's insecure.
I hugged him and said I will talk to my husband and comforted him because I think he's just as hurt as I am. My husband is accusing his own brother and his wife, and it's disgusting. I love both of these men. The only difference is I love my husband romantically and spicily, and I love my brother-in-law because I think of him as my own brother. Anyway, I confronted my husband and he kept telling me and explaining himself how he wanted to hide it from me and how he thinks that me being close to my brother-in-law is icky and people will judge us, etc., etc. I said, F those who think about us like this, and I don't care. I will continue to be close to my brother-in-law, and I am disappointed that you have so little trust in me and your own brother. He said that he's sorry. I told him to get out and do not return until you tell him sorry. My husband left, but he constantly calls me and texts me. I reply to him and ask him how he's doing, but I didn't tell him to come back even though he has asked me a lot. I'm still angry at him for how he's thinking. So am I the a-hole for kicking my husband out? I don't like that I kicked my husband out, but I am angry and hate the way he's thinking. I don't know if you're the a-hole. You might, maybe a little for kicking him out, but I think really the main point is that by kicking him out, you're not really helping yourself. You're just kind of escalating the situation.
And it's going to make things get worse before it gets better.
So we do have some relevant comments. Your brother-in-law isn't acting like a brother. He's acting like a boyfriend. He comforts you when your husband is away. He helps you out when you're alone. And that's why you're so dang close. He took care of you for a week and stayed at your house while doing so. He says he has to act this way due to your husband being absent, and you're acting like a girlfriend. You provided physical comfort to this man right after he told you your husband wasn't okay with it. You're the a-hole. OP responds to this, F no, my brother-in-law isn't acting like a boyfriend and I'm not acting like his girlfriend. I am married and my brother-in-law looks out for me when my husband isn't present to help me. Why is it so bad for me to share a roof with my brother-in-law? I am instead very happy that my husband's family is so accepting and helpful to me. I was sick, so he stayed with me. I'm sure if my husband's parents know about this, they will back us up instead of thinking about this disgusting crap. Also, no, I didn't provide physical comfort to my brother-in-law. I gave him a hug, which is I have been doing for years. I'm not ashamed of hugging him alone or in front of everyone else because I think of him as my brother. We have another comment. I would say your reaction was a little extreme. Obviously, this is an insecurity with your husband, but you're treating it like he's the one that cheated by having those valid thoughts. He finally became honest with you and you responded by kicking him out. It will hinder your communication going forward. OP does say, yes, I agree my reaction was extreme because I am extremely effing disappointed that my husband doesn't trust me. He basically accused me of having an affair, which is not good at all in marriage, and I am extremely angry with him. He became honest to me. Why didn't he just communicate with me about his insecurities? He told me after I confronted him, if I didn't talk to my brother-in-law, I would have never known that my husband doesn't trust me. Do I not have the right to be angry at my husband after I found out he doesn't trust me and accuses me of sleeping with my brother-in-law? We do have an update. I posted 2 days ago and realized that I truly effed up by kicking him out and dismissing his concern with my brother-in-law. For those who are asking me if I'm in brother-in-law's sheets or I got the hots for him, I don't, and it's disgusting. I truly think of him as my younger brother and always thought of him as one. I would never cheat on my husband, and I kicked him out of his house because I was pissed at him for accusing me of having an affair with his own brother. My husband indirectly accused me of having said affair, and there's no way he can justify it. If my brother-in-law or my brother ever hinted or asked me that he wants to be with me, I would literally slap him and tell everyone in our family, especially my husband, and avoid him. But after all these years, I know that my brother-in-law thinks of me as his sister, and I adore him. He stayed with me and visits me because he's concerned about me. So please stop with the disgusting DMs and replies.
We should get the brother-in-law's point of view because she's speaking on behalf of the brother-in-law. What if the brother-in-law was like, yeah, I have the hots for...
We have another story that's just like, I'm secretly in love with my sister-in-law.
My brother is catching on.
Yeah. I asked my husband to come back and told him it's better for us to talk it out than just stay apart and become paranoid.
Wow, yeah.
My husband came back and told me that he doesn't like how close I am with my brother-in-law. He said that his friends keep telling him that he and his brother are sharing a woman and tease him. I asked him what he wants. I asked, does he want me to stay away from his brother? He said he does. I said, then I will do it. I will not talk to his brother as much and forget about treating him as my brother. I called my brother-in-law and told him that we should stay away from each other and should only interact when our family members are present and keep it minimal. He said he is okay with it and he's been thinking and he thinks it's not worth so much drama and will keep his distance from me. My brother-in-law asked me to pass the phone to my husband. My brother-in-law apologized to him and said he would stay away from me and won't be as close as he was before. They talked and agreed, and now my brother-in-law is going to avoid me, which is better than my husband being mad at me and avoiding me. But I told my husband that he better not think about that I would secretly meet his brother. We were both transparent and never hid anything from you. If I'm losing my friend and my brother just because he's your brother and you've known him for years, then I will stay away from all men. But don't you dare suspect me of anything like this ever again. I said that he's not allowed to stay close to other women either, his friends or cousins or my cousins, because it goes both ways. I stay away from his brother and cousins, and he does the same. He agreed, and he's back. And we want you back every weekday at 3 p.m. PST when we go live on YouTube, on Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you have to do is tap our profile and you're in. You could even go check on that right now, but pause because we're about to finish this story and we're going to talk really quickly about where we're at. I don't like this at all.
That's what I'm saying. It's very weird.
This is not a good...
It's a very weird... There is a weird connection here. You're not seeing your point of view of your husband right now.
Well, it's more like the husband's point of view is being forced, where he just goes, no matter what you tell me, I will always be uncomfortable with the dynamic you have with my brother. I've dated people with siblings, and I've had relatively serious relationships with those people.
Yeah.
And their siblings, it got to a point where, it felt like they were part of
they're part of the family.
Yes. You forge a close bond with those people.
But even at this point, like, it's just like, I think we're on two different sides here. I think the brother-in-law, I think he's spending too much time with OP.
I'm going to stay away from all men, I guess, and you're going to stay away from all women.
Yeah.
So exactly what I said. Where does it end?
It doesn't.
They immediately took it to, all right, every single man and woman is off the table.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't agree with that.
Absolutely absurd. So now things just don't feel the same to me. I feel like he accused me of sleeping with someone else and that it was with his own dang brother. And I know my brother or brother-in-law brother-in-law, I guess, wouldn't betray his brother. And even if I'm to stay away from him, my husband would think that I'm cheating when he's not around, and I don't feel comfortable about this. I love my husband because he's mine in every way, but I also love my brother-in-law emotionally because I think and treat of him as my brother. I have no idea if I could have handled my situation any better because I'm also currently angry about all of this. Here's some relevant comments before we finish the story. Illustrious Bus 9786 says, your demands just heightened his suspicions that you will go behind his back. No, if he's still suspicious of me, then we do not trust each other, and we should divorce. If I were to go behind my husband's back and sleep with his brother, why would we even tell him the truth? We can continue our quote-unquote affair while my husband is away. Heck, I can even have affairs with other men when he's not around, and nobody would know about it. At least not now, but me and my brother informed and kept updating my husband whenever he was around and when he stayed with me. I think it's perfectly reasonable that to fix my marriage, I should stay away from other men and not be as close as I am to my brother-in-law. And he does the same, which is, I agree. Again, I don't think that's reasonable. I don't think that's reasonable at all. He's your brother-in-law, not a stranger, not a coworker. All of those things, I would agree that needs to stop. This is basically the next step behind your blood relative. I think it should go both ways, and we should stop suspecting each other of all this disgusting crap.
So I want to do some takeaways here. One, I'm not happy with how the husband enacted all of this. It was the wrong way. The statement from the brother when the husband's away is what was like a big red flag to me. I was like, well, that stands out. Kind of weird, the way you worded that. I don't like the eye for an eye thing. Like, this definitely needs to be communicated with all three parties. That's what needs to be done. The brother-in-law, the husband, and OP need to talk. Hey, we are a family. I love you both. I love him as a brother. I love you as my husband. That's that. Maybe lessen the time to see each other to make things heal. Great. It's just like, I don't like controlling people.
Well said. I knew that this was doomed the moment that he was like, it's all men. It immediately, as soon as I was like, if you're going to cut off the brother, it's not going to stop. And it immediately became literally everybody of the opposite sex.
It was a domino effect.
Communication and trust in a relationship, two of your biggest pillars. But that is the end of that story. If you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.